Well, ways of seeing and being seen are themes of body awareness. It's a dark comedy opening this week at the Five and Dime Theater. Here to tell us about it is the show's director, AJ Heekin. AJ, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having us, Anne.
Oh, congratulations on the new play. We are also joined by cast member Cynthia Riegler. She is the actor playing Phyllis, who is a somewhat condescending psychology professor on the campus of a fictional Vermont college. Thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right. We're also joined by Erin Barnes, who plays Phyllis's wife, Joyce. Erin, thanks for being here.
Great to be here. Thank you.
And Tyler Lewis Wardle. He's the actor playing Joyce's autistic son, Jared. Good morning, Tyler.
Good morning.
All right. So thanks for being here. AJ, this is a story that explores a lot of complex themes, but through comedy. It is set on a Vermont college campus, as we mentioned, during something called Body Awareness Week, which is
formerly Eating Disorder Awareness Week. Basically, Phyllis rebrands it so it's a little more positive.
Okay. And so this is Phyllis's creation, but she comes to be a little bit alienated by it. Can you give us just kind of the broad outlines of what happens?
Yeah, sure. So the play centers around this family. It's Phyllis and Joyce and their son, Jared. And you think in the beginning that the central conflict here is that there's something up with their son. They basically think he's on the spectrum, more specifically has Asperger's. And so they want him to speak to a therapist about this. Now, this sort of gets turned on its head during Body Awareness Week, which is Phyllis's baby, and she really wants all of these production elements to go really well. And it gets flipped on its head when an artist, traveling artist, comes to stay with them and basically has this very risque art, which is nude female portraits.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's about figuring out how we look at others and how we look at ourselves. And Annie Baker has this deft hand.
The
at
playwright.
dialogue. Yes. Yeah. So yes, it's a comedy, but it is a stilted, awkward comedy. It's very real, like how human beings are when they have to put their foot in their mouth.
Yeah.
They keep trying to connect with each other and failing and trying and failing.
And it digs into these themes. I mean, your character is, a feminist and somebody who's, kind of aware of the impact of body image, sexuality, kind of all of these like themes that come into play because of this photographer who you find objectifying and kind of like the impersonalization of the male gaze.
Yes. Phyllis has a very strong sense of feminism and of what is right and wrong, and also a very strong need to be right
And to tell other people.
and really struggles with having this artist whose art she finds completely objectionable under her roof and paying a lot of attention to her lady.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, Erin, your character, Joyce, is a little bit more interested in this photographer and the work that he does and has some thoughts even about possibly posing for him.
Maybe. Yeah, I think Joyce is a feminist too, but I think that she looks at the situation with this photographer very differently than Phyllis. And she thinks that the women that he photographed come across as very strong. And she, I think, buys into his idea that the women that are posing are reclaiming their own body images a little bit.
Empowered by this.
Exactly.
Right. And so, Tyler, as we mentioned, you played Jared. Initially, as AJ said, it seems like you might be kind of the cog in this conflict. How does your character develop and how do you interact then with these two moms of yours?
Right. So in the very beginning, Jared sort of sees this potential diagnosis as sort of an affront to his intelligence because he is a very smart kid, but a big part of his journey is kind of learning to accept that part of himself and realize that it's not a negative thing. And one of the things that we talked about very early in the process is with the theme of body awareness that I'm very unaware of my body. And so that's definitely something that we explore.
Interesting. And so, AJ, how do you sort of bring all of the characters, how do you guide them on issues, particularly of the body? I mean, as in terms of how they conduct themselves, is that also kind of a character in the play?
Sure. So if we're talking about physicality here, actors bring something to their characters just inherently in who they are. And so when we see things that fit a character or that we want to lean into, we definitely illuminate those and try to use it for those characters. You know, like you bring yourself to any character that you play, and these actors
Mm.
are astonishing. I've really never worked with any cast like this. They're just fabulous at leaning into instincts, yeah, leaning into those physicalities. Yeah.
Well, Five and Dime is working out of the Florida Ballet building. This is at 10131 Atlantic Boulevard. We have a link to tickets on our website, but the play gets going on Friday. It runs through April 18th. It's the Five and Dime Theater. It's called Body Awareness. Y'all break a leg. Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you
Really
so much
appreciate
for
it.
having
Thanks so
us.
much. Come on out and see us.